Welcome everyone to the Co-Creators Convergence Thursday night Creator Convo. I'm Noelle Marshall and I'm here with my beloved, a couple of them, but.
Greetings everyone, this is Bob. So wonderful to have you back with us, Suzanna. Aloha to you. Looking forward to the conversations this evening. Kathy, thank you as always for hosting the most amazing people in the world, bringing their gift to the shifting humanity Thursday night. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. And, during our conversation tonight, everyone can just mute yourself and relax. You can turn off your video if you want. This is going to be recorded, and you can put any questions or comments in the chat. And, I'm just going to follow, we're here just to serve. So Kathy, Suzanna, whatever you tell me to do, that's typically what I do as best I can. So
it's the only time we get to tell you what to do.
Yeah. And hopefully I don't mess it up.
And I never do.
Yeah. Okay, so before we begin tonight, and tonight I'm really excited about this topic, Sacred Union, Ascending to a 5D Paradise. So I'm all about paradises, and any help I can get, Suzanna, most welcome. So before we begin, I'm going to play a little video and tell you something about the Co-Creators Convergence and the exciting guests that we have coming up. So please stand by. So that is a little bit about the Co-Creators Convergence. Now I want to tell you a little bit about my good friend, Kathy Mason. Kathy Mason is an Amazon bestselling author, speaker, host of Conscious Business Zone, and online sales specialist who works with conscious companies to help them grow. She is psychic and intuitive and can see your soul mission and help you create that vision now. And she has a Facebook show every Tuesday and Thursday, Conscious Business Zone. I watch it as often as I can, Kathy. And from there, you steal some of my guests, and I'm going to bring you some too. But it's on Facebook at 10 Mountain Time, 12 Eastern. So through her company, Mason Works Marketing, she lovingly supports her clients as a seasoned interactive strategy coach and implementer with a solid background in developing products and publicity across all digital platforms, internet, TV, mobile, in-store marketing, and social networks. She is a very high energy cause marketing expert with over 20 years of experience, and she rolls out cutting-edge strategies for businesses, building communications, implementation, training, and ebook publication. And you can find out more, visit her website, masonworksmarketing.com, and her email, Kathy@masonworksmarketing. So that's about Kathy, and she's brought us another wonderful guest, Suzanna Kennedy, and I'm going to ask her to unmute. And Kathy, I'm going to turn it over to you too.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. What we usually do is we do a centering to get everyone out of their busy mind and busy day. So tonight, what I've selected is a decree from the Saint Germain Press, and it'll be quick, but hopefully it'll be very comforting, relaxing, and soothing for your day. And since we're on our way to Friday, it'll be great. So it's a violet flame clearing. Violet flame from the central sun, violet flame from the central sun, violet flame from the central sun, in, through, and around, all under this radiation, this instant and forever. Descend, 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 descend. Defend, defend, defend. Command, command, command. I am, I am, I am. Control, control, control. Take hold, take hold, take hold. Unfold, unfold, unfold. Our victory, victory hold. Expand, expand, expand. Our freedom now demand. In thee we ever stand. I am, I am, I am. I am, I am, I am. I am, I am, I am. Forevermore, I am the only acting presence, which right now sweeps into the physical octave, swift as a flash, perfect as the ascended masters see it. And I demand this manifest, manifest, manifest in all our victory, victory, victory attained right now. I expect this manifest, manifest, manifest in all our victory, victory, victory attained right now. I am this manifest, manifest, manifest in all our victory, victory, victory attained right now. Almighty I am, almighty I am, almighty I am. And again, that was the violet light clearing for everyone so that anything that's in your field, this will allow you to receive more of the high vibrational work that Susanna is going to bring to us tonight. And with that, I'm so proud to introduce you to my friend Suzanna Kennedy, who's an author, speaker, empowerment leader, ascension coach, a spiritual midwife, and a co-creative partner. She is totally in world service, and we will get to have an example of that today. What you want to know about her is that she has taught thousands of teleclasses and lived her dream of running a global, heart-based, prosperous business while living on the beautiful island and paradise of Kauai, Hawaii. Her reality crafting transformation technology, which we will experience some of it tonight, initiates a ripple effect that upgrades your self-image and your ability to see through illusion and master your thoughts and emotion. And how important is that right now? My goodness. From this foundation, you can take and make healthier, conscious choices. And you can work on your personal growth, your spiritual development. You can gain increased self-awareness. You can enhance your intuition, and you can align with your higher self and manifest the life that you want. So with that, thank you so much for coming for us and sharing your knowledge, your generosity of doing this work with all of us tonight. Thank you, Susanna.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you so much for the invitation. Happy to be here.
Great. So what we get to talk about a lot tonight is this wonderful new book called Sacred Union, Ascending into the 5D Paradise. So what we talked about is we'll do a Q&A between Susanna and I, and then we will do Susanna will lead us with an experience so that you can experience her beautiful work. And then we'll do Q&A in between or as it pops up, right? You okay with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Well, we'll see. This is a friendly crowd for sure. So, okay, so I have to say this book is a huge gift for anyone that is lucky enough to experience the energy within it. It not only is a physical experience, but it's a subconscious experience of a dynamic energy upgrade. And so what we want to talk about first is my first question to you as an ascension coach who's helped thousands of people worldwide rediscover their inner genius and their own sacred union. Could you explain what your definition of sacred union is for everybody so we get all on the same page?
Yeah, right. Well, of course, when I first heard it, I thought it was, soulmate, twin flame, all of those kind of things. But what I was feeling in my heart was some kind of memory of a different kind of relationship that I had never, that I had never seen on this plane. And as I explored it and as I embraced, because I heard those words and it's like, that is what I have to focus on. It was so strong. And what I was brought to is it's that sacred union. Well, it's getting rid of all of the separation, all the layers of separation that we're in. I mean, we were born into this illusion of separation on this planet. And it's not our true nature. Our true nature is that oneness. And so it's the sacred union process, you might say, is just releasing all those layers. So the first is to be in sacred union with your own inner self, your own inner masculine, inner feminine, inner child, bringing the heart and the mind together into sacred union, and then the soul in sacred union and fully embodying your soul and clearing away all those layers of distortion and obstacles, resistance to the love that you are. So it's really just being your natural self. And it's an ongoing process because we are multidimensional beings. So as we fully embody our soul, the Christ consciousness, and then the new layers, the new dimensions of who we are, because we exist on all these levels of consciousness, and we're creating in all these different realms, and we can bring those all into embodiment and benefit from the wisdom and the experience and the talents and the skills that we've developed elsewhere, and synergize that and be able to use that in this life to serve.
Perfect. I want to, there we go. I want to add that when someone is in sacred union and has worked with you and has used your tools, they seem to have a presence about them that is so authentic. They're totally present. It's not like they're distracted looking somewhere else. They're aligned. And so the creations that they engage in happen much faster. They're clear. There's no emotional blocks to them. There's not really a stop. It can happen fast, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's because you've cleared away the resistance and the distortions and all of that. So there's nothing in resistance. And so and then when you're creating, you're in at least your fifth dimensional consciousness.
Right.
Is so strong for manifesting. And then, the way I do the reality crafting is to work with the conscious intention and the infinite love, which is the fuel. That's the creative energy of the universe.
It's
So
perfect. It's perfect. Well, what happens with this infinite love is you remember that that's who you are. So it's like a power pack, actually, when there's so many people that are in the world right now that are distracted and have a lot of chaos around them. This is like a breath of fresh air, getting a chance to get aligned to who you really are. Maybe fall in love with yourself again. If you ever did, maybe finally fall in love with yourself. And once you're in sacred union with yourself, then any relationship at any level changes, correct?
oh yeah, when you're in that sacred union, when you're radiating your true soul energy, you're going to attract, then you attract your soulmate, then you attract, those people, those opportunities, those resources to fulfill your soul purpose. Everything that is related to your soul and your soul mission, becomes available and finds you. So you don't have to go out looking for it or get on the dating apps for it,
Right. Well, I think it's also that it's because you're aligned, everything magnetizes, and that's where even your work in the world, everything you need that's a like vibration all of a sudden is there. And it's a rarity that people get the opportunity, get the gift of themselves like that.
Yeah. Well, it's rare that people know how beautiful they are, and just this infinite love and light and rainbow colors. And yeah, there's so much beauty in us, and it's time to let it shine.
Yeah. Oh, it's perfect. So the next thing I wanted to ask about is your journey, because your journey, you were you were living a 3D from the outside perfect life, and all of a sudden you had this experience. Could you share a little bit about how you awakened your inner self?
Well, that kind of happened to me. So I was in the corporate world. I was a consultant, and I was creating training programs and performance solutions. And I was in Detroit. Our clients were the auto companies. And I was just saying, what is my sole purpose? I don't think I was really put here to teach guys how to run their car dealership or to sell more cars. And so I was just asking that question. And one Saturday morning, this energy woke me up, and it was up my spine like a freight train. And it was electric and magnetic and scary. And oh my God. So I just said, oh my God, what's happening? And I heard a voice, and it said, you're giving birth to yourself. Just breathe. And so I did the Lamaze breath, because birthing myself, I'd had 2 children. I knew that. And so it helped to help me cope. And when it was done, I felt like a completely different person. And I knew that who I thought I was before was not who I really was. I could feel the true self, the infinite love and light that we all are. So, and but I could also see at the same time that there was this old me, who I thought I was. And to me, it looked like a computer program that ran through my whole body like an internet. And it was a collection of beliefs that I had created about myself that were, they were coming from the 3D world. They were coming from the illusion of separation. They were all aligned with that. And they were limiting me, that I knew that if I didn't somehow clear those out or delete those files, I wasn't going to be able to be all that I was experiencing myself as being in that moment. And so that's when I went on a quest to find a way to clear that programming from my system.
Perfect, perfect. So I'm going to pin myself back. Whoops, I keep doing that. Sorry. Sorry about that. So when you talk about the Kundalini experience, many people are waking up now, or there's people coming in that haven't necessarily had as drastic an experience, but they may start having knowing, their intuition may be heightened. They may start being totally empathic, and they're coming up into blocks because of their programming or their upbringing, whatever it is. Could you talk a little bit about that too? Because you found ways to release these programs out of trying to rebalance yourself, right? But there may be lots of people here that are going through a version of that, right? That isn't as drastic, hopefully.
Yeah, well, or even the people that I've talked to who have gone through, what the Hindus call a spontaneous Kundalini awakening. I still had to get rid of the programs, or I wasn't, it doesn't wipe everything away. The only thing it does is it breaks your emotional attachment to who you are. So you're not that, but you still have all of the programming. So a lot of people are having peak experiences. And then, they're always trying to get back to that. And, they're told, raise your vibration, which is true. But the quickest way to raise it and to keep it higher and to keep raising your baseline is to clear out the old stuff. Because it's not only the subconscious beliefs, it's those subconscious beliefs have created the events in your life. And those events, a lot of them are painful. And they're designed, they're coming from your beliefs. So when they happen, they kind of validate those limiting false beliefs. And, and then they repeat. So all of the emotional pain and trauma that you felt because of that is also in your field. And so when you clear the mental and the emotional content of your consciousness, it automatically raises your vibration. And, there really isn't any escaping this process because if you don't engage in it consciously and kind of lead yourself through it or be guided through it, it's going to happen because of these high frequencies coming through the sun right now. But what's happening if you aren't doing it like in this alternate graceful way is it creates the subconscious fears and things. It creates those events so that you have to face them head on. So that you have to clear them by facing them. And, you can avoid all of that by by transmuting that subconscious stuff before it gets manifested.
Okay, yeah, that makes total sense. And I think what we want to do, there we go, sorry. What we want to do again is let everyone know about the blessing of that when people say, oh, you're peeling an onion and you just have to keep getting into it deeper and deeper, that may not be the case. You may be able to see the program, use your tools, or work with you and clear it. And then it's a non-issue. And I think that's the gift, a big part of the gift of what the shadow work possibilities are for right now. And this is not necessarily, in my world, I don't see this as soul retrieval. I see it as repatterning, taking out the computer program, deleting it, and then seeing what the underneath wants to express. Do you agree?
There is a essence that happens of soul retrieval that happens.
Oh, okay.
Because, well, what we've come to call soul retrieval anyway. But, because when we are traumatized, a part of us disassociates and goes usually into the fourth dimension around us. And it stays stuck. It's like it makes a little hologram of that event and all of the feelings that you had about that event and all of the things that you decided about yourself because of that. And so those hang out in your field until you can clear those as well. And that's part of the sacred union. So you're healing those disassociated aspects and then bringing them back together in sacred union.
I see. So, and how does this compare to inner child work? Would you say there's some of that as well?
Yeah, that's included. Part of what I just explained is part of the inner child work, but that's a lot of time. A lot of the disassociation happens in those 7 years, but then, those, I see them as little spheres with hologram movies inside, and they experience some kind of similar frequency to what traumatized them, and then they work through you. They take over, and you go unconscious, and they take over, and whatever their defense mechanism is, and those kind of triggers, they can all be cleared. And again, you're bringing those unhealed aspects into healing, into maturity, and into sacred union.
Right. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's powerful. It's in a system. So it's been tried and true for 20 years almost now, right? So once you've got something that's best practices, it's really something. So you've been teaching about sacred union work for about 20 years. And so what was the most profound part of your awakening to that work? Was it when you decided to love yourself and have a sacred union relationship with yourself first, and then you started, I know you went to Sedona and you were offering some of these sessions to friends. Could you talk a little bit about that so people can get an idea of the evolution?
Yeah. Well, first I created the emotional mental deprogramming system. So that was what I used to clear the beliefs, the subconscious beliefs and the emotional baggage that they created. And then, just naturally more of your own self, your soul comes to embody. It's just what happens because you've raised your frequency enough to be a match. And so I kept experiencing higher and higher levels of my own self coming in. And then at one point, and I had been in Sedona for 2 years, and then I was guided to move to Kauai. But in between that move, I went to Europe, and I had been asked to come over and teach about the divine feminine. And when I was there, I had a download in one of the sacred sites, and I heard, this is a gift for the world that's going to be born through you. Told me to consider myself pregnant. And it took 9 months for me to integrate that energy and understand what it was. And what it turned out to be was a series of initiations that I called the Divine Human Upgrades. At first, I called them the Sacred Union Program, but I kept getting people coming that all they wanted was their soulmate. And it's like, no, it's not about that. It's about coming into sacred union with yourself. So I changed the name, but it's still that was the original name of the program. And so that helps you after you've cleared out who you're not, then you start bringing in who you really are, and then start working with the new gifts that show up for you. And so near the end of that series of initiations is one called Merging with Your Twin Flame. And what I understood was that the twin flame is another part of you that's in a higher dimension. Very rarely is your twin flame embodied at the same time you are. It might be, what you consider your guardian angel or a guide. But when you reach that level of frequency where you're a match, then your twin flame embodies. And to your question, is that feeling of that twin flame merging and then feeling that sense of completeness, that sense of wholeness, that sense of I am so in love with who I am. I'm in love with my life. Yeah, I don't need anything or anybody, but boy, I'd sure love to share all this. And, and then that's when I felt like I was ready to call in a partner. So I wrote up a list of how did I want to feel in a sacred union partnership, and kind of did a little ceremony, sent it out, and he showed up 6 weeks later.
Wow.
And we've been together for 22 years now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. The idea that your twin flame was really the other part of you, that's wonderful. People talk about twin flames in human form, and that contrast being difficult because everything that you need to heal is reflected to you. So this sounds like a much better way to do it.
Well, if that's the case, then it's not truly your twin flame. You've probably been fooled.
Oh,
And there was kind of a program put out to distract light workers, and they were, they got their own guidance. They got it in psychic readings. Yeah, this is your twin flame. But if it was really, really hard, they were unavailable, they weren't interested, then that wasn't really your twin flame. And so, and what I found too is after I had been with my partner, who I'm not saying he was my twin flame, he was the match, he was the vibrational match to my twin flame. But after we'd been together for a while and we were meditating together, I saw my etheric twin flame go lay down into his body.
Wow,
So
that's
he's,
cool.
yeah, so he's really the match now.
Oh, that's so cool. So I want to say that as we're talking about all of this, that for the people that want to go deeper into this, we'll certainly share Susanna's website, but there is quite a bit of information inside this wonderful book that'll give you a path to you understanding this better and possibly sensing it to a high level so that you'll be ready. If it's for you, you will be ready to experience it. So my next question is, I know because I've gotten to be around you that you and Bruce Lipton are dear friends, and that he has put you as a referred provider on his website. Could you talk a little bit about your relationship and the connection with Bruce Lipton, please?
Yeah, well, I think anyone who's been around him becomes his dear friend. He's such a bundle of love. Well, I had been using the emotional mental detox for a while. Because it was inspired. And people would ask me, how does it work? Why does it work? And I really couldn't answer. It's like, this was inspired. I tried it. It works. That's all I know. And then I got a hold of Bruce Lipton's book, The Biology of Belief. And he said, the mind is not, or the brain, I think he said, brain is not like a computer. It is a computer. And he talked about the subconscious as being subconscious programs. And because I did have that background in teaching computers, that, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense to me. This is the way I can explain it. So that it was a godsend for me to be able to now say how it works and why it works. And then a few years later, I was asked to be a speaker on the same event in Denver as him. And so he was keynote and I was, another speaker. And I went up to him and asked him, what would it take for you to become familiar enough with my work that you could feel good about recommending it? And I had it in a CD form at that point, and it was CDs. And he took it to his heart and he closed his eyes and he just breathed with it for a while. And he said, I can recommend this, talk to my assistant and she'll put you on my referral list. And I think that was in 2011. And since then, I've had pretty much my whole practice has come as referrals from him. And then just this last July, I met up with him again in Mount Shasta. And we had a little bit of a reunion, and then he agreed to do an interview with me. So we did an interview in November, and he just warms my heart. And he's also met with my star student, my rock star, who I'm so proud of, and she just had a meeting with him as well. So he knows about our work, and it was really good to be with him and feel his support.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, and of course, his work with epigenetics is quite interesting, and it aligns a lot with your work. Do you want to share a little bit about how the epigenetics work aligns with yours?
Well, it's, of course, epigenetics, for anyone who doesn't know, what he discovered was that it's not the genes that control the biology, it's the environment the genes are in. And he said, the most intimate environment is your thoughts and your feelings. and that you can, you're not destined to have some kind of disease just because your ancestors did. It's, if you can change your environment, you're going to change the outcome. And so, my focus has been on the mental, emotional, and spiritual part of the environment that our body is in. And so, and all of these energy tools that I have developed over the years and that are in my book helps to change the environment. And you can even, use one of the energy tools to like laser focus on something that's going on and release it. So there's changing the environment, changing the frequency that the cells are in. It's all about frequency. It's all about frequency. And when you introduce a higher frequency into a lower environment, that lower environment has to start speeding up to entrain with a higher frequency. And then you can get to that higher or highest expression of whatever that environment is supposed to be.
That sounds perfect. So in your book, you have you share tools for personal empowerment. So for the people that are interested, the book, the first part is Suzanna's journey and gives you an idea of how to deal with it. And then the second part of the book is filled, just absolutely filled with tools and explanations about how you can actually be self-empowered. So I wanted to ask a little bit, so these tools that are in the book, can these practices assist us in the cleansing of past karmic and family imprint patterns that are still remaining in our field? The idea of us releasing computer programs is one thing, but there's still, I just want to make sure that people understand about the cleansing of the past karmic and family imprint patterns.
Yeah, well, I talk about the emotional mental detox program in the book. And so that is, that's to use because you don't know what's in your subconscious. It's subconscious. So I've already identified all of the core issues that we all have in common. And I take you through step by step, clearing each one of those 6 core issues and everything around it. But then, like you say, things come up, and the tools in there are for the things that come up. And yeah, there's the sphere of compassion. You can use that to pretty much clear anything, thoughts, emotions, situations, rooms, environments. Incredible tool. There's the emerald ray, which is good for balancing and healing and clearing out energetic cords and focusing on truth. That is a really important tool. And yeah, it's just filled, like you said, inner peace, creating a pillar of peace. So no matter what's going on you feel like a pillar of peace all the time, like in the eye of the storm.
Yes, yes. So I feel like this is such a gift to be empowered, to be able to experience it, understand it, and then try it out where there's no bad consequences. This is best practices, basically, after 20 years. And thousands of people have done it, but it's amazing how much is available to you without a special outfit on, listening to special music, going in a special location. You can just with the knowledge you can actually, or with access to the internet and some of your recordings or your classes, you can actually do a lot of this work yourself in a very safe environment. And I find that very reassuring because I'm a little frightened about all of the people using psychedelics with untrained guides to do some of this work now. So this to me is like, oh, what a gift, because the idea of being able to journey back to yourself is really, really powerful. And that, I think that's what was intended, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can't take the instructional designer out of me. So yeah, that's what I did before all of this happened. I wrote or created training programs and manuals and all of that. So you've got step-by-step instructions on how to use these energy tools and in what instances you can use them. And then, they are also all available on my website as, guided meditations.
Perfect, perfect. So when we're talking about reality crafting, you hinted at it when you talked about your relationship with Casey, that you reality crafted that. But I know you did all sorts of stuff. You reality crafted your trip, your moving to Sedona from Michigan and then to Kauai. Could you share a little bit, because everyone on this call who's seeing it now and seeing it later, they want joy and peace and divine flow. They want all of it. And so you figured out the recipe. And of course, please tell us.
Well, yeah, reality crafting, I call it a technology, consciousness technology. And yeah, what I figured out was that, first of all, we create now from our hearts. So a lot of teachers in the past have said, visualize what you want. But to me, it's like you got to feel what you want. And also the other component is if you don't have what you want in your reality, there must be some resistance to it. So acknowledging there's that resistance. So what I guide my people through when I do sessions with them, and what I've done for myself, of course, is I do connect with the I am presence first, because that is your creative authority in your world. This physical life is your creative domain. And so aligning with the I am presence and then getting into the feeling energy of what it feels like to have that and the gratitude that it has, that you have for it. And then that creates a reality code, a frequency matrix. And again, I love working with spheres because that's how I see everything anyway. So it's in a sphere and you put those codes in the sphere. And again, put that aside, and then you create another sphere of compassion. And into that command that anything that's in resistance to this is going to go into the sphere, and you just breathe it into the sphere. And once it's all in there, then you bring in the infinite love, like a beam of light. And the infinite love is going to cause all the resistance. And so the resistance could be the beliefs, it could be the trauma, it could be the DNA, it could be your ancestor, or your lineage, or your karma, or past lives. It could be anything, but you can just call it resistance. And the infinite light goes in, and the resistance, which is a lower, slower vibration, has to speed up until it meets it, until everything inside the sphere is infinite love. At which point you've created 0 point. So 0 point energy field is the potential for anything, but it has no form. So it's nothing and everything at the same time. So you've discreated the old, and now that energy is available to create the new. And so then you put that together with your other sphere together, you merge them together, and then that creative energy now has the codes, the reality codes to show it how to take form. Anchor it in and watch it unfold.
Perfect, perfect. So when you did that, you've already shared your experience with it. Could you share some other people's experience? Because I know you've helped so many people do this. Could you share maybe some other success stories?
Yeah, well, that's like my favorite thing to do.
Yep.
Yeah, so reality crafting, that's when I feel the most joy in my life. Well, we've worked with people, raising the expression of their relationships. So we get that a lot. Sometimes, I mean, I've had people who have worked on clearing the relationship, say with their partner, and clearing, and when you clear all that old stuff, it just makes room for you to, because we from our past, from our traumas, we create walls and ways to distance and separate ourselves. You clear that away and people can be, join in a more intimate way. So I've seen relationships be enhanced. I've also seen people use this to get out of relationships that are toxic, which is sometimes really difficult to do, because that toxic person doesn't want to let go. And so, yeah, there's been several where we've been able to get them out of the relationship, but also clearing the patterns so that relationship, that type of relationship, isn't attracted to them anymore. And so I've seen people go through that process. And then, like I was mentioning, my one star client, she has attracted the most wonderful sacred union partner. So that was fun. A lady that she was a project manager in the IT industry, and she was working with, she was a project manager, but she was freelance. So she would get these projects and they would have a lifespan. And so she was in between, and she asked me to help her create her new position. And so we did that. And as part of the manifestation, she put in there that she wanted at the end of this contract to be asked to stay. So she went through the contract, she was asked to stay. And then she said, well, I think I'd actually like to create something different now, because I would like it to be where I could work at home, and I would like more benefits, and I would like this and that. And so we created that situation, and she created she just kept stepping herself up with her jobs. One woman who was in the corporate world, and she was feeling like she wasn't seen, she wasn't heard. It was like she wasn't there. And we recreated that situation to where the CEO heard one of her suggestions and stopped the whole meeting and said, we need to listen to her. She's got a good idea. And then actually she was promoted to vice president of operations. So, yeah,
Wow.
those are just a few, finding your place, different homes, health. And then it's always interesting to me because, people kind of want the same thing. So over the years, people asking for, a similar thing, you would think that there would be like a standard way to approach that. But when I work with people, I'm tapping into their frequency and their consciousness, and what is coming through me to articulate what their intention is always different. And the resistance that comes is always different. And the words that they need to hear and the visions that they need to see are just so individual. That's why it's so much fun for me. It's like, it's like a movie every time. It's wonderful.
That's fantastic. And our imagination is a big part of this, because you have to be able to imagine this and then that and then that, because once you break through, well, it's not a glass ceiling, but it's your own self-imposed perspective. Once you break through that, then why not?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and a lot of times they'll say, it's in this area of my life, but I'm not really sure what to ask for. And when I'm connected, I can see the highest potential.
That's perfect.
So I can help them to articulate that into an intentional command. And then they're like, wow, that was way better than I ever thought.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so David Maria is on here too, and he keeps saying, wow, wow, wow. He's doing different work, but he's doing some work like yours. It says, being seriously downloaded for a while now. Thank you, Susanna, for the transmission, just sitting in the energy stream of it. So yeah, anyone that's sensitive that gets the opportunity to work with Susanna, you want to do that. That's all I can say. So my next thing I wanted to mention is about 5D, because we're talking about ascending to 5D paradise, but I know, and you know, that you're capable of going to much higher dimensional work when you're working with people. Could you add a little bit about that? So, or at least explain 5D and then above, if you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, for most of our lives, we've been living in a third density physicality and a third and fourth dimensions of consciousness. And what you might call heaven is the highest dimension of the highest level of the fourth dimension. And hell is the lowest level of and you can experience that, both of those and all that in between in this body. Paradise is more than a dimension of consciousness. It's a physicality, so it's a density. And as we bring in the fifth dimensional consciousness, or even higher dimensions of consciousness, and the more that we can embody them, that informs our biology, and it starts to change us. And I think people have heard that, we're changing from carbon-based beings to silicon-based, crystalline-based. And so that's what is happening is you're bringing the higher dimensions into your body. That changes and starts to crystallize your DNA. So right now, personally, I'm working on holding the eighth dimensional consciousness in my body as long as I can, as much as I can. And that is starting to, change my physicality. And 5D paradise is around us already. I mean, I feel like I've been living it here on Kauai for the 22 years that I've been here. And it's because the physicality matches, the consciousness. And so it's all around us. It's here. It's just in order to perceive it, you have to vibrate at that rate.
Right.
But it's, raising your vibration, evolving, conscious evolution is the gift that keeps on giving, because, there's always more to explore. And, as you raise your vibration also, and I mentioned this earlier, as you match the higher dimensions of consciousness, who you are and what you're experiencing in those levels, all of that becomes accessible to you. So the beliefs, the experiences, the talents, the skills, you're in these other lifetimes developing and focusing on different things, and all of that becomes available. So, and I do believe that once enough people are really holding that that consciousness and have held it in their consciousness enough to change their body, then there's going to be a shift for all of those, a certain amount, whatever the tipping point is. And that's, when they talk about the 2-world split and all of that. So we're in the process of that happening, and the way, for us to speed it along for ourselves, and at the same time, serving the whole, is to do that work on ourselves and keep raising that vibe, baby.
Yeah. Well, that's what one of the things that I love when I talk to you is that you've worked with a group of people for over 10 years, I think, and they are really benefiting for this time period as you've gone more into your higher dimensional self. And there not only are new concepts and new perspectives coming through for your upgrading your processes and your offerings, but you're actually, the meditations you're doing for your sacred union reprogramming classes. And so if the people that have taken them for a while, they're flying high with you.
Yeah, they are.
Isn't that neat? We're like tuning forks.
Yeah. Well, they say, whatever you're doing, I'm going with you. So. And my husband is like, I don't know where you're going, but I'm going with you.
I think that's great. So one of the things that you do with some of these people is you do a process called world service. Could you share a little bit about that so people can know about that as well?
Yeah, that's a group, and if anyone's interested, they could email me. It's the people who are in it now have gone through the emotional mental detox, so they're at a certain level of frequency, and we are so the calls are every other week, and we start out just by connecting with each other and seeing what's going on. I'm asking for what can we celebrate? What are the challenges? And what are you seeing going on in the world that we could affect in a positive way? So, based on whatever the input is, I create a guided meditation and bring them into the higher frequency, and always upgrading ourselves first, because if we're going to share, we have to share from the highest frequency, and it's got to be clear and pure. And so we do that, and then we radiate that out. And, we see near the end of it, I always ask, okay, we're going to anchor this in, and now, let's just watch for a minute to see how it unfolds. And it's just getting more and more beautiful. It's quite amazing.
So what I love about that, when I guess we're going to get a little example of that tonight too, but what I love about that is that there is an opportunity for everyone to be a part of the solution, and without being combative, but they can take a part of the solution to uplift humanity to this new time period. And as Susanna's group exemplifies, there's a lot of people excited about the change. They're, rather than using their energy for fear, they're using it as excited expectation for the new, which is going to be beyond our comprehension, most likely, because it's fifth dimensional. And we've been so accustomed to being in this dense time period. Do you agree?
Yeah, I certainly agree with all of that. Yeah, it's fun to hear, I'm so at peace. All my friends are like doing this and that, and all up in arms, and they're scared about this, and they're sending me emails about that. And I just know everything is going to be fine. I feel at peace. I'm in the flow. So, yeah. And sometimes things come up, and, but what they say is I have the tools to deal with it. I'm so glad to have these tools to just, clear it up and resolve it really quickly. So
Well, it's a different perspective when you're excited when you see a trigger, rather than it throws you into the loop or the treadmill of life. Instead, it's like, oh, good, I get to inspect and release another one, because the energy that's released when you get clear of all this stuff is the energy that you can co-create with at a real high level. And that's when you have playmates, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's what I have, a group of playmates.
You do.
Co-creators. Well, this is called the co-creators convergence.
That's
So
right.
I do have my groups like that too.
Yeah. Well, in co-creators convergence, when we used to meet in person, we would everyone would talk about going into the field. So there was this commitment and excitement and palpable energy in this field in person that you walked in. It was like walking into a vortex in Sedona kind of feeling, where you walked into it and it was like, oh, everyone connected. And the first time I went to it, we were asked to videotape testimonials at the end. And several of the people, we had to turn off the lights to videotape them at the end of the event because they were glowing so much I couldn't capture them on video. So it was like a Reiki golden light, or it was more white than gold. But anyway, but that's what, when you get into field in person like that, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen that on video, but that is the experience that they feel, I
Right.
didn't, they just like, I'm glowing. I know I'm glowing.
And it lasts. That's the thing. This isn't, people have tools and they have a toolkit in case something shows up, but in general, the big chunks of these distortions are released, and then you just may use the tools again if you buy the online program versus being in person, or on Zoom, not in person, but in group on Zoom. What happens is that you have everything you need to realize the distortion and then do something, be empowered to do something.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, we have the ongoing, let's play together and co-create together, and let's do world service. So
yeah. So I was wondering, do you want to do something with I'm sorry, Bob. They said when we used to meet in person. Sorry, when we used to meet in person at Sunrise Ranch in Colorado. Sorry. I haven't gotten to go to them since. But anyway, so what I'd love for you to do, if you could, is we'll talk about world service or have an experience of some sort of energy exchange experience. And then at the end, we'll talk about your website. Okay?
Okay. So Yeah, what I can do is the quantum peace activation for all of us, and then we can share that with the world as a world service. So yeah, and the quantum peace activation is on my website as a free gift. So if you want to listen to it later as well. And yeah, I have people doing it every day as a way to start their day. Okay, so here we go. So taking some full deep breaths and really coming fully into your physical body. And giving your mind the command to stand back and be the silent observer of this experience so that it may serve this co-creation once anchored. If there's any places in your physical body that are uncomfortable, just breathe some love into those places. Let them release, let them surrender into the love. Let your emotional body surrender into peace. Opening your heart and calling forth your I am presence. I am all that is. I am all that is. I am all that is. I am divine infinite light. I am divine infinite love. I am divine infinite wisdom. I am divine creative power. I am the creator of my reality and the source of my creations. I am that I am. It's breathing, allowing your I am presence to fill up your heart, your energy field, and your whole reality bubble, that sphere around you, which is your creative domain in this life. Filling it up with your I am presence. And from that infinite light and love, calling forth the frequency of divine love into your heart. And you might imagine a pink flame. And divine light coming in now, the frequency of divine light. It may show up as a yellow or gold flame. And divine creative power showing up as a blue flame. And so this is the triple flame, or sometimes called the trifold flame, in your heart space. And now we're going to allow it or direct it to move down, stay in your heart, but also create a copy to go into your solar plexus, one to go into your sacral chakra, one to go into your root, and going up now, one that goes into your throat, your third eye, and your crown, And we're giving it the command to purify, purify, purify your energy field. And as it purifies, we see it expand even above your head into your soul chakra, below into the earth chakra. And breathing it up now in a stream up the back and down the front and up the back and down the front. Just letting it circulate. And that's going to continue. And we're going to get another flow going down the right side of your body, like the right shoulder, arm, torso, leg, up the left, up to the soul chakra, down the right, around and up to the left. And that continues. And as that is expanding, these frequencies, the triple flame, going through your organs, your systems, your blood, your bones, all of your tissues. Now you see it expanding out in all directions, filling up your energy field. Filling up your reality bubble. And this creates a feeling of profound peace, becoming a pillar of peace now, connected to the sun, connected to the heart of Mother Earth, expanding outward in all directions. We're going to go quantum. So expanding to that consciousness of you that is a planetary consciousness. Expanding to that level of you that is a solar, a stellar consciousness, your star consciousness. Expanding again to your galactic consciousness. And your universal consciousness. And your cosmic consciousness. And again, we can feel and touch and experience our I am presence that holds all that we are in love, in direct connection with Source. Good. So just breathing with this for a while. This is all that you are. Shining with divine light, divine love, divine creative power. And now coming together in our quantum peace consciousness. And experiencing the exponential expansion, the synergy of us together. And then focusing our attention on Blessed Mother Earth and all of her inhabitants. Holding it all in our hearts and sharing, radiating this peace, this love, this light. And we can leave a little gift for each being, each resident of Earth, and Mother Earth herself, their own little hologram of peace that we can leave in their field for when their I am presence or their soul is feeling that this being is ready to receive it. Some are receiving it now. And some will receive it later. Good. So we're going to anchor this in with the command, anchor, lock, and seal. Recalibrate, align, balance, and harmonize for graceful integration and full expression in my physical reality and all relevant dimensions. So be it, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now let's just take a moment, now that it's anchored, and just observe. Observe how this unfolds. How does this co-creation of ours affect the inhabitants of Earth? Good, good. Now coming back, bringing your full consciousness into your body, be fully present here and now. And we're going to call on an axitonial alignment, a multidimensional alignment of all of ourselves and all the dimensions. Anchoring in the physical body, connected to Blessed Ascending Mother Earth. And we are complete. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How you doing, Kathy?
But I'm delightful. Thank you. That felt beautiful. It felt wonderful. I couldn't tell you exactly what you said because I was expanded, which feels wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, did you sense anything different with this group?
I'm focused on the expansion. So
Right. Okay. I just wondered. So it looks like Noelle has a question or two. Did you want to come in,
sure.
Noelle?
Well, I want to invite everyone in, and
Okay.
that was really,
Wasn't that wonderful?
it really, I keep wiping my eyes because it was just like tears were coming. I just had to keep wiping my eyes. But I feel like I'm really going to sleep well tonight. That's all I got to say. And I invite everyone to come in. I'm going to, very beautiful. That was just, it just felt like you provided so much guidance. And then we came in for a very soft landing. And very appreciative of what you brought for us. And if anyone like to make a comment, you're okay to unmute. And while we have this former programmer, now a consciousness technician and spiritual leader and advisor here, take advantage of the short time that we have left. Hi, Noreen. Kathy, you can unmute. David, would you like, Mark, would you like to join the conversation? This is the first time you've been on one of our calls.
Yeah, sure. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Suzanne, so much. It was wonderful. And thank you guys for allowing me to be here this evening. It's been great. Kathy Mason, I just got to say, I couldn't believe the amount of light that came over you while this was going on. It's incredible. You don't even look the same now. It's like,
Yeah. Yep.
that's great.
That's what happens.
Yeah, that's great.
Wonderful. Kathy,
Really.
do you want to join in or go ahead? I'm kind of zoned out, so.
Speechless?
Felt really, really expansive. Two Kathys here.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's very beautiful. And I do want Kathy and Susanna, I know you have a very special offering this Sunday, isn't it? On the 17th. I'd like you, maybe we could close with you telling us about that. And
To go to Susanna's website again, which is SuzannaKennedy.com, so that they can get a copy of that recording that we just did for free and have it on their phone or on their computer so that they can do that whenever they want. Because as we go through these changing times, that's a tool that everyone can have in their toolkit that can really help them. And I also want to recommend this book. As I said, we got to publish it. So I'm really familiar with it, and I really can't say enough for the quality of what's here and the capacity of this book to help heal. So it's recalibrate, align, and harmonize, actively healing hearts with consciousness technology. And it's on Sunday at my time, at Mountain Time, it's at 12 p.m. At Susanna, who's in Hawaii time, it's totally different time period. But,
8 o'clock for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's early for her. So
There's the-
it's 11 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. And the link to sign up, once you sign up, you'll get the Zoom link. It's SuzannaKennedy.com/recalibrate and registration. I'll put that in the chat.
oh, that'd be great. Very good.
Yeah, so I just wanted, and it's going to be amazing. So,
There you go. I got it for you.
You've got the whole event there and also the direct registration, which is in the event. About all the time that we have, Susanna, you're always welcome to come back anytime. We love having you here. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the publication of your latest book. And maybe we'll even get you to CCC so you can, we could try some of those practices in person.
oh, wow.
So that'd be something. It's a long way from Kauai, and
Well, we could go to Kauai. We could have
come
a
on over.
CCC retreat in Kauai. What's wrong with that?
yeah, Glenn and Marion had been trying to get us there for years, but
Yeah, oh, it's my
Yeah.
favorite.
yes, we
Yeah,
used to go there
they're
quite
friends of
often.
mine.
I mean, you're already in paradise.
I got the shirt. I don't have the airfare.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
And
all.
thank you guys. And so important to do this world service work right now.
Absolutely.
This is the time.
Absolutely.
Bless you all. Bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for a wonderful evening.
Thank you.